everyone, this is Trisha and welcome to my channel. This year I decided that I want to put up a fall tree. So to put up my tree, I'm going to need some ornaments and some decorations. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be doing a series where I will do each video. I will create a new ornament or decoration to go on that tree. Now I'll probably be adding a few other things on my tree. So what I decided is I'm going to do a final video, and that will be the decorating of the actual fall tree. So I hope that you enjoyed this series, so let's get to creating. For project number 4, we're going to be doing this Harvest Words ornament. Alright, so for my Harvest Word ornaments, I'm going to be using these from the Dollar Tree. They are the Harvest DIY Words. Let me open it up so you can see what they look like. And to create the sign, I'm actually going to be using these wood planks. These are a 7.125 inches by 2.875 inches. So it's about 7 inches and almost 3 inches. I've also chosen these party napkins, and I really like the design. Now these are the smaller napkins that the Dollar Tree carries. These are a 24 count. They're 9.8 inches by 9.75 inches. Now to create a bow, I'm going to be using some raffia, twine, and some ribbon. I'm also going to use the twine to hang my ornament. I want to paint my sign, so I'm going to be using the folk art in parchment. I've got these Waverly chalk paints. This one is in pool and this one is in celery. Of course, you can use whatever color paints you want to use or use a stain. Now that I have all of my supplies together, let's get to crafting. I'm going to be painting the wood plank with the parchment first. So I'm going to put some of that paint on the board here and just use a brush to paint it on. And I want to get it on the sides as well. It's up to you if you want to paint the back also. Alright, so now that my little plank is dry, and I only used one coat. By the way, I got all my paints here, the Waverly and this folk art. I got them all at Walmart. Now I'm going to take the celery color and I'm going to get some on my brush, and I want my brush to be dry and clean of any other colors or any water. So I'm going to grab some of it with the tip, and I'm just grabbing from the lid here so it's not grabbing too much paint. If I feel like I grab maybe too much, I can just wipe it on the napkin. So now I'm going to go with the flat side like this. I'm going to go back and forth, just making little lines, and pick up more paint as I go along. I rather put a little bit of paint and then add more if needed rather than putting way too much on there. So you're just going to put it on there in lines like that. And what I do is I go ahead and I clean off any excess again, and then I just go with the flat side now going this way, and then just go over it to kind of smear it and cloud it a little bit. If you feel like you put too much, then go ahead and go over it with your parchment. Just make sure you wait till it all dries up. Alright, on top of my celery, I am now going to be using some of the pool, and only because I love these two colors, and I'm going to be using them throughout my decorating. So I want to add this color as well. I'll do the same thing and add little lines going back and forth. Actually, I want to grab it from the lid because that way I grab less. Back and forth, repeating the same process, and that is all, and blend it in. And that is the effect that I want on my little plank. Alright, so now I'm going to take one of these napkins that I got from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to pop this open. Now this particular package of napkins only has a design on 2 sides. Now if it had it on all 4, or if it was all the way around, it'd be awesome because I would be using less napkins. Now I'm going to go ahead and also separate these into the 2 plies so that I can remove the one in the back, because I only want the top. So just kind of work your way in the little corner till you've popped them open and you can separate them. All right, so it took a little work, but I found where to pull it from, and then I got it separating. And I want to do this very carefully. I don't want to tear the top layer of my napkin. There we go. All right, now that I've separated them, I'm going to cut out these two designs, but I'm not going to use the scissors. You could use your scissors if you want. I'm just going to roughly cut around them with my fingers. And this is why I didn't want it to tear, because I don't want the design to get destroyed doing this while I'm pulling the two plies apart. Anywhere in the middle, it wouldn't matter, wherever there's no design. I'm not going to be using that, but the part where the design is, I want to save. So I'm just going to cut around it. I don't want these little straight edges. Now, this is a little bit bigger than the actual size of the plank, so some of the edges won't show, but I suggest that you do this anyway, just because it'll depend on where you actually want to place the napkin or how you want to place it on there, what's going to show, so you never know if you're going to need these little jagged ends, if you will. But again, if you want to cut them out with the scissors and have a more, straight edge cut out, then you do that. All right, so there we go. That's what I want. Now I want to take the tissue design that I've cut out or ripped out and I want to put it on my little plank. And I'm going to be using some Mod Podge. You can use some white glue that dries clear to do this. And then you decide where you want to place it. Now you can place it right dead center, and you can place it however you want. If it fits perfectly within your plank, awesome. Like I said, mine's a little bit bigger than my plank, so I'm actually going to go off to the side rather than in the center. So I want to put it right about here. So to get that on there, I'm going to use my Mod Podge. I'm just going to pour some in my cap here. All right, so I'm going to do a little bit at a time so that I make sure that I get it stuck on here. So I want to put a good amount of Mod Podge, not puddled up, but you do want to get some on there to grab that tissue. And now I'm just going to press it down. If you feel like the tissue is just too delicate, you don't want to use that, you find some fabric or maybe some scrapbook paper that has a design that you like, or wrapping paper, use that instead. Now I'm going to do the other half and just press this down because I don't want any little bubbles. If I get little bubbles, that's fine. I have a pin here that I can use to kind of poke into any bubbles and kind of just push out the air. If it gets wrinkled, I don't mind. I really like that wrinkled look. I've already done one and it came out really wrinkled and I really like it. This one's coming out a lot smoother, but that's okay. They don't all have to be the same. Now I'm going to go ahead and put some glue on the little edges here as well, or the Mod Podge. And I'm actually going to wrap the napkin piece around to the back. And now I can fold it all the way to the back and not worry about cutting that off. But if you want to cut that off, you certainly can. You would wait till it all dries. You would seal the top with some more Mod Podge. And I'm going to recommend that if you're going to do that, of course, put some on the wood part so that it all has the same finish to it. And I'm using a glossy Mod Podge, so I definitely want to make sure that I get it on the wood part. Now, here I am folding it back, but again, like I said, if you want to wait, what you can do is when all of this is dry, you just cut this off. Just push it down. You can use sandpaper also to kind of sand it down. But like I said, I'm going to wrap it around, so that's what I am doing. All right, so I've just taken a couple of strands from my raffia, and it's about maybe 36 inches long. All right, I'll start at the end here and just start making some loops. Not too big. Just make as many as you want. Just wherever you started, your little ends, make sure that you end on the opposite side with little ends if you decide to cut it earlier and not use the whole length of raffia. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do one more so that I end on the opposite side of these, and then just cut off. And then from these bits that I've cut off, I'll use that to tie around my bow and secure it so that it doesn't come undone. Let's grab it correctly so it doesn't want to keep sliding out of my hand there. Okay, one more time. Make a little knot, make sure it doesn't come undone. All right, so any loose bits that are like that too long, we're gonna trim them off. All right, and because I knotted it, made it secure, I can now fan it out to create this little bow. I'm going to do the same thing with my jute, but this time I'm only going to do about 18 inches. Of course, you can grab as much as you want. So this is my piece right here. I'm going to do a much smaller little bow and just do as many little loops as I can, making sure I leave some of the end undone so that I can use that to tie the whole thing. There we go. Just like that. As you can see, it's not a very big bow. It's a tiny little bow. And I've knotted it again just to make sure that it doesn't come undone. And then you can just trim the little ends, and there you have a little bow. Whoops. Right there. And now I just want to make a 2-loop bow with my ribbon, but I don't want to use the same ribbon to tie it up. I'm going to use a piece of chenille. This is a 12-inch piece of chenille stem. What I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it in half, and then I can cut it right there, and then fold it in half and then cut it again so that I have 4 pieces out of 1. All right, so I start out by cutting my ribbon end at an angle like that, and I'm just going to do a very short little tail just like that. Pinch and twist, make a little loop, pinch and twist, make another little loop. This time I'm not going to twist my ribbon when I finish. I'm just going to pinch it, and then I want to cut at an angle. You can cut these after you've secured it. I'm just doing it now, but you can do it afterwards. Okay, so now that I've got it all like that, I can turn it around and make sure that I've got all the pretty sides of my ribbon facing up. Yep. And now I take this little chenille stem and wrap it up. And the chenille stem, you'll just make it nice and tight. You can go ahead and just twirl it all together, or you can just cut that right off, you know, the ends here with a wire cutters. I just kind of curl it into itself and push it down and make it flat up against the back of the little bow. And then just open it up and make sure all your little ribbon is facing upward like it should, and there we go. That's our little bow. All right, so here I have my sign that's already dry, and I want to make a little hanger for it. So I want to make a hanger that's about so long. So just kind of measure how long you want it to be looping over it, and then give it some length on the sides because you want to do a little bit of a knotting. So what you can do is first knot one end, and I'm going to knot it twice to make sure that I have a nice big knot. Sometimes you could do it 3 times if that second one doesn't land right on top of the first one. So there's my little knot, and I'm going to fray the little ends here. Just like that. Just open it up and fray it up as best as you can if you want to do that. Okay, you don't have to. All right, so then that can go there. So then I know that my length will be about so much when I hang it. So I want to give it enough length to cut or to knot it. So I'm just going to cut it right about there. And right here is where I want my little knot to be. So I'll go ahead and knot it. And actually, I'm going to do it one more time. That's a nice thick knot, but let's do another one. And just make sure that it kind of lands on top of the other one. There we go. And then I'll just trim off the end as well, and then fray it up. All right, so now I want to attach it to my little board or my little sign. So just some glue and some glue on this side. I'm actually going to grab this kind of thinner end on this side because this side will get covered up. And I'll use this bigger knot on the opposite side. There we go, just like that. And we'll let that dry. All right, so now I want to add my little wooden letters, and because I'm going to put a bow on this side, I don't want to put it like that, but you could put it off to the side, let your little design show, and then put your bow on the opposite side. I'm going to center mine because I've already done one, and that is how I like it. So just take any of the letterings or the words that you like, and we're going to glue them on top. Now, you'll notice that I'm not painting mine. I'm leaving them as is. These have a nice little dark edge to them, so that kind of gives them that 3D effect, and it really makes them pop. So I think I don't need to paint them. I think they look really pretty if I leave them natural, but it's up to you if you want to go ahead and paint them. I'm just going to go on the back and add some drops of glue here and there. I don't need to put them everywhere, just here and there. All right. Let's put it right about there. Okay, and there we go. Now I just want to add my little bows to my sign, And because I have my design over here, I'm going to put my bows right there. So I'm going to use this raffia one first, put it right there. Let's put plenty of glue so that it sticks right on there. On top of that, I'm going to use my little fabric bow and stick it right on top of the green. Now to hide that chenille stem, I'm going to use my little jute bow, glue it right on top of that. And we'll just let everything dry. All right, so there is my completed Harvest Words ornament. I think it looks really cute. So I decided to make 4, so just make as many as you want. And make sure that you multiply the amount that I'm going to be putting down in the description box below of the supplies for one ornament by the number of ornaments that you want. All right, everyone. As I said, I think they came out really cute, so I'm going to give myself a big old thumbs up, and I hope that you too will give me a big old thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, hit that red button down below, and then you'll see the little notification bell. Go ahead and choose that. I always choose all so that I get notified of all the videos that I have subscribed to. So you want to do the same thing as choose all so that you get notified of my videos. All right, everyone, I hope that you enjoyed my little tutorial. Hope you leave a kind comment down below and let me know what you think of my project. Is this something that you will be doing? You can change this up for any season. Just use the same idea. And there we go. And as always, enjoy.